There's nothing like a road trip, driving away with no particular destination, a free spirit, your foot on the gas, and a song in your head. Today I'm driving across Belize from Belmopan past PG, down winding roads and across bridges built by M&M Engineering. On this segment, you'll see lots of bridges and how they are built from a technology known as pre-stressed concrete. And you'll be amazed, M&M is the foremost authority in Belize, so sit back and enjoy the ride from PG to the border with Guatemala. M&M has built 8 new bridges spanning crystal clean creeks and rivers, an area totally transformed by a new road and bridges. You'll see bridges along the Southern Highway and in Belize City and Dangriga. And this bridge that links the Western Highway with the Northern Highway. No more driving into Belize City. Now we love this bridge. This story begins where this pre-stressed concrete is being made at mile 12 near Ladyville. They call this the pile factory. Here, men are shaping this metal to become part of the piles. Piles are posts that are driven into the earth to give a structure a more stable footing in often unstable construction sites. This wire, wrapped around 8 steel cables, are the super skeleton of these concrete posts known as piles. But you ain't seen nothing yet. First, these steel cables are stretched like giant guitar strings with this air-driven tool. You might want to step back, as these cables will be stretched equaling 30,000 pounds, and then encased in concrete, made strong in every way, inside and out. I think that's F-sharp, cadet.
If this mold is ready to pour, it has 8 5/8 tendons in it. These are cables that are in tension to about 30,000 pounds.
So, you with me so far? Next we add concrete, not just any concrete, made from special materials, obtaining a perfect pour, withstanding great pressure and spanning greater distances. Hundreds of bags combined with a certain kind of gravel and sand, then mixed just right, moving along a conveyor belt to a waiting concrete mixing truck. This is plasticizer, which reduces the need for water, makes the concrete more workable, and produces a more dense concrete. The process is really very scientific and not very commonly known, and that is another reason why M&M Engineering is so in demand here in Belize. Well, the men are standing by, awaiting the pour. This is all about timing as well. This special concrete needs to be worked and finessed in a timely manner. As the mix comes down the chute, at a glance, even an untrained eye can see that this is no ordinary concrete. See what I mean? These men will work their way down this mold, smoothing out the super concrete. Wet for now, but when it's dry, these piles will stand the test of time, supporting bridges and structures for generations, and a specimen of this concrete is saved to prove the batch.
This is what we call a cube, that is used for cube test. In concrete production, you do either a tube or a cylinder test. On this side, we're using a cube test.
Well, the concrete is hardened. Let's see what we've done here. Figured into this design are cable loops so that these monsters can be jerked out of their molds by a giant construction crane. 60 feet long and able to withstand great pressure and huge weight, mainly because of those 8 steel cables stretched beyond comprehension, then encased in our super concrete mix. Built in a similar way are double T-slabs, I-beams, and these unusual pier supports that we will see later on in the segment. Now on a bridge construction site, the engineers are working with surveying equipment to pinpoint the exact spot that these piles will be used, working with a blueprint and mathematical formulas calculating the exact location where the weight of the bridge needs supported. Now meet the metal monster who will drive this concrete post deep into the earth, called a diesel hammer or pile driver. Either way, prepare to be humbled. The men are making final adjustments and fueling up this machine as the crane stands by to hoist it into position. This crew of men work together, taking measurements and strapping the pile to the business end of this diesel hammer or pile driver. As one end of this 60-foot-long pile is hoisted to the heavens, the other end of the pile dangles dangerously as the crane operator swings it closer to the position for its insertion. Men muscle the pile the last few inches as it is lowered into the hole and check to see that it is perfectly upright. Upon approval by the boss man, this diesel hammer is raised to drive this first pile. With the thunder and stomp of a dinosaur, the pile driver begins to slam this concrete post with a force unimaginable. Again and again, the pile is driven into the earth as a man monitors its precise descent into the ground. It's really quite an operation on the grandest scale, how these men harness the mighty power of this machine to put in place a structure as impressive as a bridge. As the ground continues to tremble beneath our feet, across the river, men are cutting off the piles already driven to the correct lengths to support the bridge floor. The next job is on Harvest Key, site of Norwegian Cruise Line's new island. M&M was there. Taking shape was a tourist mecca for the ship's guests. Remember these? Built by M&M to dock this huge cruise ship. Norwegian needed steel and concrete structures and facilities like this desalination plant to convert seawater into usable water. A paradise was being built and M&M was there. M&M Engineering builds other things like warehouses, multi-story office buildings, even this high-rise home by the sea, and a world-class stadium needs areas for spectators, and much more at M&M Engineering.
My name is Roque Matos. I am the director of M&M Engineering. Our company started in 1996 as a consultant company, and when I was a young consultant, I saw the need for Belize to improve its construction industry. In 2006, we saw the opportunity to begin to introduce our system in bridges in Belize. What had happened before us, bridges were imported, the designs were done by foreign consultants, and it used to cost Belize basically an arm and a leg. And we saw that we can save the country a lot of money by designing them locally and also constructing them locally. We had the capability, and we do up to today, to build bridges with clear spans of 150 feet, which was something unheard of, you know, in the past in Belize, especially with concrete. So by us introducing these systems, we are able to build extremely long beams. We're also able to transport them. We have the equipment to handle them and also to install them. And we want to say that we are quite happy to be working with the government of Belize over the last 7 to 8 years on the construction, the designs, and the installation of our products in almost all of the new bridges that are being built. Today, M&M Engineering provides piling throughout the entire length and breadth of Belize and also the islands. Currently, we are working on projects in the south, in Malins River, in Malacate, in Dangriga, in San Pedro, in San Ignacio, and in Belize City, all piling projects. After we began doing pilings, we realized that there were needs to improve the construction in other departments of building structures and bridges. And so in the year 2001, M&M Engineering began to produce precast flooring systems such as T-beams, double T-slabs, and inverted beams. What these systems did was they made the home user or office space personnel or person building a warehouse have a longer span. In the past, buildings were confined to 12 to 15 feet spans. That means you would have a column at every 10 or 12 feet or 15 feet. What we did was we started to work with our clients that wanted more space and more free space. And what we did is that we came up with a double T-slab whereby we began to span up to 60 feet. So there were no columns in that era. It also saved time in construction. The buildings and the structures were going up a lot faster. It was a quality control product, so you get a very good finished product, a very strong product, and it also saved money in the long run. So the client won in all three cases. Another product that we're very proud of is actually a building system which uses all precast concrete, and we tend to use these in commercial buildings and warehouses. Basically what we do is we install pilings if the foundation requires that. We install precast beams, precast flooring slabs, and then we do tilt-up walls. Tilt-up walls are these huge walls. Sometimes they're 20 to 30 tons. We pour them on site. So we pour the entire buildings with their windows and doors, decorations, and so forth on the ground. We come with a crane a week later and we tilt up all the walls so they're standing up. We temporarily support them until we have placed the structure of the building inside the tilt-up walls. We remove the temporary braces, we attach the walls to the building, and the building is finished. One of our featured building was the Servitec building, which we erected in 8 weeks. It was a great pleasure for us to be on the Belize Technology Report. Thanks to Steve and Cadet for going the extra miles for us to make sure that we were well represented and that people get to know what we're all about.